here from quantlabsnet.com. It is just after 7 p.m. Just a reminder, we will be going live for now, streaming every week on Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I might do probably a Zoom session this Thursday. I know this might take a while for the YouTube algo to get out there, but I'll just get on top of this right now. Anyways, what's happening right now is the algo. I've done a post a few days ago on my website regarding API docs, and what's happening is with the documentation. There's two approaches now. There's the old way, before AI became a thing and MCP was ever existed. Basically, it's just reading API documents. If you're familiar with C++, there's a tool called docsgen, and basically you take your code and you are able to make documents out of it. And if you're doing an API, back in the day, you document it, and you can make a document on there. Hey man, how you doing? Yeah, I had some problems with the streaming setup, but here we are talking away. So as I was saying, the documentation traditionally was done through a tool like a docsgen, and now APIs are kind of getting more complicated, more options out there, but they're poorly documented. One such example, I'm pretty sure I'll be saying this, is the Rhythmic API document. That's what started this whole topic. And to be honest, I tried to find easier ways to generate the interpreting it, because there's no coding examples, there's nothing like that, or no search utility as well. So it's basically an HTML set of files with JavaScript in there as well. So back in the day, in the early days of Microsoft, you used to be able to get the same equivalent, paper-based, obviously, for C++, Visual Basic, so other languages as well. So that's all they had. That was the only way to learn programming. Before that would have been, that really became popular for me when I was a teenager, was Turbo Pascal. And you learn from a book. So now in this day and age, it's totally different. As vibe coding hits, people become more lazy. They have this MCP server. And to be truthful, you're missing out on a lot of things when you do MCP servers and AI vibe coding. The big one is that the article went on about was the Stripe API. And with the Stripe API, you have a call in there where you can verify the credit card. And that's all you need. And then you think, okay, true, as a return, and you think everything's all hunky-dory. But there's a lot of other stuff in there that will reject the credit card for a number of reasons, even though it's the return call on the verify is true. And people will sit there trying to figure out why it's accepted, but the credit card still being not processed, let's say. So what happens is people miss out on, there's other nuances of that call that you should know about. And because of that, and you're just relying on an MCP server, that is where it gets kind of really lazy, really dangerous, especially when it comes to money. So as a result, people can spend a lot of time digging into this MCP server trying to figure it out. And there's other reasons why, because they haven't bothered to read the whole API documents. So that's the big reason why you can't rely on AI on its own. You cannot rely on MCP servers also alone. You have to read the traditional way of the entire API docs. Even though I'm going into the Rhythmic API docs, there's two versions. Actually, there's three, because I'll talk more about the Rhythmic as much as I can without breaking terms of service. But what I can say about the Rhythmic documents are no coding examples. There are no search facility at all, trying to figure out stuff out. And as a result, what happens is you get raw documents. So as a result, what happens is your ability to really comprehend the API docs is very limited and very hard to get a hold of. So that's where we're at. Okay, so let me talk about this API. I said this before, especially last week. If you really want to know about true HFT, and now I'll say ultra low latency, if you're coming in from the the retail world, retail trading world, this is the only gateway into the world of ultra low latency, high frequency trading basis. If you got questions, let me know. Or you got comments, let me know. Jump in whenever you want. But what I will say is, if you want to go down that path, the only real way to do it is through Rhythmic. Okay. I've read now the API documents 3 times pretty well. I'm just finished on the C++ documents. So as I said with the Rhythmic, there's two versions that you care about: the .NET, and then there's the C++. If you are a newbie programmer at any of this, this is a no-go. You're going to waste your time on it. This stuff is too advanced. If you are relatively new with programming and you want to go ultra low latency, you have to go the C++ way. But if you want to understand the API docs from Rhythmic, you need to start with a .NET version. Okay. There, it's a lot easier to understand when it comes to playing. They give you 3 source files to kind of play with. There's the sample bar. There's also a streaming example and a simple order connection as well. If you're familiar with the interactive brokers, it's the same concept. You have Trader Workstation as a software that you connect into. With Rhythmic, it's Rhythmic Trader or Rhythmic Trader Pro, the software, Windows only. So the best one to work with and experiment with is the .NET. Once you can get all 3 working, and this is only for futures, futures market and options on futures, not equity or stock. I think you can do stock somehow. I can't verify that, but mostly it's stock futures on options as the 2 asset classes. So from a progressive standpoint, as a programming to learn, the best ones to start with is .NET. I've talked about the C#, the Python. I'm not a big fan of the protobuf. The JavaScript is not fun either, as even as a language. So if you're starting out, start with a .NET. You can do that obviously on Windows and whatever you want. They give you some coding samples. As I said, three coding samples. But if you want to go ultra low latency, true HFT into big exchanges like the CME, the Chicago Mercantile, Eurex, LME, the Singapore SGX, the Nikkei, this is the path you go. And you're going to do that in C++. The C++ version also recommends that you are going to probably want to work with the Linux. So you're going to have to be pretty strong on Linux as well. Any questions or comments so far? This is just from what I'm seeing with the 2 API docs that I've come across. So those are the 2 basic API libraries that you'll work with Rhythmic once you get everything set up. You're not going to go very far with the demo stuff. You're not going to get support. You have to go through an introductory broker, have accounts funded. As I said, I'm doing that with EdgeClear. So right now, once you understand the C++, you will not ever in your life see any how advanced any API I've worked with in terms of just not just trading, but also with institutional level. If you're going to try to make a career out of this is the path to go. Because I do believe many future shops, prop shops, boutiques, some smaller hedge funds are going to use Rhythmic as their venue to go through. So that's the path. So Rhythmic is usually it. So if you want to get a job in this field, I would probably strongly recommend it. I think it's safe to say this is the only way, is to get the Rhythmic API experience. Once you put that on your resume, I do believe you'll be put at front of the line in terms of showing interest of not just programming generally, not just trading generally. If you have Rhythmic on your resume, plus with a trading track record that's profitable, I think you will be put at the front of the line without a doubt. And that could be said for a lot of the different shops, probably even a high frequency trading shop, because this is the path, is to have that Rhythmic experience with you, and namely the C++ option or path to support that, and to really understand things like order book, volume. There's so many things I'm learning that I've never, out of almost 15 years doing this, I've never heard of. These are the reasons why I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it, period. But if you really want to learn and get yourself ahead of the crowd, and there's a lot of them, this is the path. Learn Rhythmic, learn the Rhythmic API documents, learn not just to do that, but the programming end of it, and all that. Anybody got comments or questions on that at all? This is the way. This is the way. There's no other way. And I've got the news and info on their higher end API called the Diamond. The documents call it Diamond Cutter. This is the component which is the ultra low latency path. So as I said with the interactive brokers will give you the trader workstation software, your program or a trading strategy bot, whatever, will connect into the TWS. The same concept works with Rhythmic as well at the lower end APIs. So that's how you're going to connect into Rhythmic in their Trader Pro or Rhythmic Trader software. So if you want to go to the next level, which is the Diamond or Diamond Cutter, you will use that API, and that will give you, on top of new venues you can go through to get your orders routed, and also get exclusive data you can't get anywhere else through the Rhythmic data sets, and access to a lot of what's on their network. Because you have to remember, Rhythmic's probably about, outside of the CME directly, let's say if you go with direct market access for the CME, you probably going to be a big chunk of the traffic and the operators working on direct market access in the CME. A big chunk of it will be probably Rhythmic, because it's so prevalent in being the wrapper to all these big major exchanges outside of the APIs that CME will have, or if it's whatever other exchange you go through the Eurex. So there is that. Those are the options that I've seen. And the only way to learn all that is through the API docs. No other way. And you won't find any of the information out there publicly, because they want to keep a tight wrap on it, and I don't blame them. That's why I'm not talking about it. But just generally, very high level, this is what we're dealing with. And as I said with the Diamond one, you will need to know C++ and Linux as well. And there's two other requirements that you need. Is you need to have access through their servers. So that's another service that they add on top of it. And the other big thing is they have a funding requirement as well. It's not like 20 grand or even 100 grand. It's pretty high. These are for really big trading shops that are very serious when they go down this path. It's not for small, and the fees per month are not cheap either. So once you get to a point where you have, for sure, either an entire end process that's profitable consistently, this is the way to go. Or you have the one strategy or let's say one instrument that's really profitable, then it's worth going down that path. But either way, the Rhythmic is a place where you kind of practice in, and you trade live if you want in their trader practice environment, and then the next step is you have to get kind of approved before you can trade live on their production as well. That's pretty well the path that it goes. So I wish I could say more. Looks like what I'm seeing is just not a big topic for people. I'm going to switch it up now. I'm going to switch topics here. So that's the path to go ultra low latency. That's the path to go high frequency trading. And I wish I could give better news on that as well. But this is kind of the only way in a nutshell. Anything else, it's not really high frequency trading. There are other paths, but you got to go through other big banks. Like I know JP Morgan has a path as well. And you're talking big boy account sizes, probably $500,000 to get the bank to return your call or your email or whatever. So that's definitely something that needs to be considered. And as I said, for a career as well, it's good to go down this path, because once a firm sees that you've got these type of experiences with Rhythmic API, as I said, there's not many people that have that. There's probably thousands of people submitting resumes with all kinds of experience because they know, I know Quant Tower or even MetaTrader, and then they have some record and they think they're rock stars. They're not. Or people coming out of places like MIT or Ivy League schools, they'll be the first picked because if you're young, that's where a lot of these firms go. But if you're more experienced but don't have these type of education or high-end degrees, they could still they may be interested in what you can offer. But if you have, as I said, Rhythmic API trading experience in the futures market, specifically in the in the options market, that's why on my post, on one of my blog posts, I did this experimental order book thing in C#, again, generated by AI. That's all this API talks about is order book and analyzing that order book as well. So that's really kind of important to build out that experience. Okay, let's talk about DeepSeek. So DeepSeek has just put out 3.2. A lot of people don't know this, but there's an R2 math one that just came out. And that one's a very interesting one because that, from what I tested with it, can do a lot of quantity stuff. It can also do HFT related stuff as well. It can focus on the order book as well. You can ask for code. It'll give you the first cut will be in Python. C++ can be in there as well. But the cool thing is when you blend it in with the order book information or API stuff that I talked about with Rhythmic, you're good to go. And then you can also provide you a trading idea as well, along with the algo quant math from DeepSeek math. So this is kind of like now the glue between the venue you're going to trade in on top of all the trading ideas. So we're literally now at a golden era where we can merge all this together and put together pretty interesting trading systems, bots as the youngins call them, as well. And that's why I'm stressing now that Rhythmic API is the way to go. And if you know how to generate your coding via a good LLM, and this new one, there's a bunch of new ones came out from DeepSeek. I don't know if they're freely available There's a couple of ones called, obviously the new DeepSeek 3.2 just came out. That looks pretty good. There's DeepSeek, as I said, R2 Math. That's pretty good for all your algo stuff. And there's now also DeepSeek Prover, I believe. I've not seen it anywhere out there, but if you can Google it, do it. Interesting things that are coming out on this. So if you got questions, let me know on this. We're here to talk about this stuff or comment about it, but I'm talking about the Rhythmic API, just gone through the experience on it. And now we're at the moment where the trading with the AI coding, math, we're there now. We're definitely there. And it's a pretty good data set. And I think it's going to get more advanced now. And it's going to quickly evolve down the pipes. So we'll see how it goes at my end. I've got money ready to go to trade micros between both futures and options. So I can do that. I have my techniques I've mentioned before. So there's that. So as I said before, yeah, you got to read the AI docs, not just rely, read the plain docs that's presented to you, whatever platform. But with the Rhythmic, you got to read end to end the docs. You can't rely on AI or the MCP servers to kind of make life easy for you. Yeah, you got to know this stuff from day one because you're putting live money on. This is the key. If you don't know what you're doing with any of this stuff, you will lose money without a doubt. So you got to know this stuff inside out. And the order, like I've got everything kind of working from the sample code. And it's working pretty good. I've got a good handle on it. Well, one thing I mentioned before that I may not be able to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum through my broker on Rhythmic. I can confirm at both ends that yes, you can trade both Ethereum and Bitcoin and futures and options through the CME. Okay, that can be done now. It's been confirmed at both ends. I'm trying to see it work. But I've been able to get all the other major ones. Like we got CL for oil. I can get gold working. I can get both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 working through these examples. So we're good there. And from what I've seen, it's fast and furious. So here with the APIs, you can get all the things about order book. It's an incredible enrichment of what's out there you're not going to get on a retail trading platform at all. Okay? At all. A lot of these trading platforms are not going to give you the information you can get through the Rhythmic API. And the only way to do this properly is via C++. And they said also Linux. So you have to have pretty good experience to get through this. Yeah, so who's got questions or comments? I've been blabbing enough here. And I do this for you guys. Last week was really good. We had a lot of really good questions, some really advanced people coming through. I know my topic at the beginning with that thumbnail may not help, but part of that was the reason I wanted to get more of the hardcore followers or loyal followers to really understand what's being talked about here, but I'll come out through the short clips and all that. But it's exciting. Yeah, this is the way to go for self-learning, and that definitely can help you on your career. I think from all the ways I've been doing this kind of like pretty well full-time, 15 years. And from what I'm seeing, we're on as I said, a golden era of where we're able to use AI. You still got to know the knowledge. You can't start from just starting from nothing and just rely on AI to get you to the point where you want to go. You still have to self-learn, meaning the old school way, especially when it comes to APIs, and know how to read an API doc as well. So that's a must. I wish I could give it much easier, but these are why a lot of the coders in these firms make a lot of money, like 500,000, a million plus. And then from there, when they add on the years of experience and they get into more of the portfolio management level, and then they can go up to $10 million dollars. I've always used a great example. The average Goldman Sachs portfolio manager in London, UK is making about £8 million. Okay, and they net it out. That's the average. So a lot of these people have gone through the hazing phases, I guess, at Goldman to get to that point. But now with coding, the quant stuff, there's more emphasis on that. And as I said, to really add the one skill without, I've said it how many, 5 times, 10 times here, rhythmic, the API has to be. That's the way. All right, so anybody got any questions or comments? I know we're down to very few people here, but I don't know. Anybody? I'm not too shy to cut these off, but thank you for the like. But our last one was 3 hours, and that was probably a very exciting one based around the questions of people that came out for that, because they were actually advanced algo traders. And they were asking very specific questions on modeling and coding as well. So these can get good. I've done another one. The very first one was good too. So yeah, I mean, if you want to know more about this, there's a couple of ways to understand. I'll be doing these 7 o'clock Tuesday nights Central, 7 o'clock Central Eastern time. So that's the plan there, and then do that every Tuesday, and then from there see how it goes. I'm probably going to do a Zoom session on Thursday night. I'm not sure how I'm going to address it, but I might go into more specifics on the rhythmic stuff. But again, I can't really talk about it in detail. But I just want to talk more probably about the benefits of knowing the rhythmic API stuff, because that's really, 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 really important. Anybody else going through a retail trading platform is lying to you, doesn't know what they're talking about, and probably doesn't have some form of a track record, does even trading as well. I mean, it's one thing to say you're trading. I think trading and being able to talk about your experiences, if you're a winning trader, that's great. But I think there's more value when it comes to losing, not being profitable, and talking about the profit or why you didn't make money on so-and-so position. I think that's probably more valuable than winning positions. Yeah, and all I can tell you is when it comes to the order book stuff, it's hairy. It's very hairy, and when you see the depth of market and all the green and red going back and forth on a bid and ask, imagine what the coding's like behind that. That's what I'm getting into. It's very intense, and there's a lot of processing in the background that a lot of people may not know about. There's a right way and the wrong way. One thing I'll say about the rhythmic from the API docs, they've done a pretty good job in architecting it. I can see why they haven't changed it. Will probably most likely not change it because the amount of development they put into it, it's been around for, I don't know, 10 years at least. So they have no real incentive to really change it, and I don't think they will. And their architecture is kind of interesting. One thing I'll say is that they have very proprietary based data structures that seem to be efficient for them. So depending upon what you're trying to do, you have to convert your own coding into these proprietary data structures. But there's a benefit with it because it's going to be optimized. It's going to be optimized for the rhythmic ecosystem or trading environment. Because with rhythmic, they have various ticker plants. One for risk management. They have another one for the data. They'll have a ticker plant, I believe, for positions and orders and It's all institutional level. It's not retail hokey pokey joker stuff. Anybody else got any questions, comments? No. I have also put up an article about the benefit of using Rhythmic versus interactive brokers. I think I'm only mentioning this because I hope this turns into a clip. With interactive brokers, when it comes to the so-called high-frequency trading, if you're trading through interactive brokers with futures and options, do realize you're not really getting anywhere close to any level of high-frequency trading. Reason is because their servers are not directly sitting direct market to access. How it works with interactive brokers, from what I understand, they have dedicated network connections from their data centers. Interactive brokers operate 2 data centers, one in New Jersey and one in Switzerland. So when you trade through either the TWS or the gateway or the fixed protocol, all your trades are going to go through those dedicated network connections. So they're going to be added into the, let's say the CME. Just so you know, those network connections just get you into the data center. So how it works with the CME is that there's Aurora data center in Illinois, and they did go down. I don't know what the real reason was why they went down last week. It's whatever reason, doesn't really matter. But from an architecture standpoint, from what I understand, CME bought a company called Globex. And what Globex was, it was the matching engine. So their entire pricing matching engine is in Aurora. So you need to get servers in that environment, direct market access, not behind a paywall or any kind of wall. To get true ultra low latency, you have to be right in those, in the Aurora data center, okay, on the right side within where that matching engine is. The interactive brokers does not get you anywhere close to that. So with Rhythmic, you can get hosted servers right in that environment. So anybody that goes on about speed and all this stuff, if you're not in the CME Aurora direct market access, it doesn't matter how far wide and where you're getting, you're nowhere, you're not in the data center for the CME. Right there to be part of that matching engine. There are dedicated services that you can get from Rhythmic to get you in there, okay? That's the big plus with Rhythmic. I don't know any other company that offers that, but from a retail trader standpoint, yeah, that's the route you go, okay? You might have seen how I talked about the secret sauce stuff when it comes to HFT stuff. This is what the institutions are doing outside of the banks or the large multi-billion-dollar banks. But they're still going to have servers within the Aurora data center, so they can be right there with the pricing engine from, that's part of the CME. So I want to make sure that's known. Okay, the only company that might be affordable to get you in there is, as I said, is the CME. Hello, Paul Jackson. How are you, my friend? I know a Paul Jackson, but I don't know if it's the same Paul Jackson that I'm thinking of from UK. Anyways, this is important to know about the CME, and I'm sure the LME is the same way. So if you're part of the direct market access to the CME and in the CME, then you're golden. But you're going to pay. As I said, I've got pretty well as much knowledge as I can on. I've talked about the Rhythmic Diamond. Now it's called the Diamond Cutter API. Okay, so I have information on that. Probably won't be able to talk about it because I can't break terms of service. That's how it goes. There are going to be funding requirements that you need to have, and so on and so forth. So most retail traders will not have that, okay? But I'm now knowledgeable on it. I'm also knowledgeable via the documentation, especially on the C++ end, and how a lot of this rhythmic stuff works. I'm gaining very quickly the knowledge on that. And my next step is I'm very close to finishing up the C++. I've done the .NET one for C#. So that's done. So I'm kind of understanding it now. But it's the C++ one you want to focus on for the next step up if you get the funding for the diamond cutter API. Once you get that, then you're pretty well able to compete against the institutions. But of course, with a CME, it's a pay to play to get access to their proprietary data sets, which is not cheap. So you better make sure you got a very profitable and consistently profitable set of strategies to really make a go of this. But this is the way to go. But as I said, for self-learning, for sure, Rhythmic's the way to go. So this is the only path from a retail perspective. And I've already talked about the interactive brokers. It's not the same. A couple other things I'll do a comparison. I did an article on this with interactive brokers versus Rhythmic. Interactive brokers is more like a toy. Okay, it's more like an amateur hour. All the platforms, all the services I've seen when it comes to the interactive brokers, API, anything, it's questionable to be associated with interactive brokers. Reason being is I think interactive brokers breaks things when it comes to third party to make it not reliable. If you're using interactive brokers directly and natively, they're instead of, let's say you're trying to do Python through a wrapper, a third party wrapper, that's going to be a no-go. If you're using Java, C++, .NET approach for interactive brokers, that's a step up. But the reason I say it's kind of like an amateur hour child's play, because the data is not as fast. The API stuff, you're not going to get like really advanced depth of market or order book or bid and ask, and other data you're not going to be able to get access to versus Rhythmic. Okay, that's what I'm saying about Rhythmic. I'm not seeing kind of the calls that you can make with Rhythmic. I just can't talk about it. But it is. I'll just say this: it's institutional level, not retail level. So that's the difference between interactive brokers and interactive brokers and Rhythmic. If you got a question or a comment, please ask away. I'm not here to sit here and blah 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 blah. I want to address whoever's got something that they want to get answered. I'm more than obliged to do that. But I'm just sitting here blabbing away. So as it stands right now, one thing that blew my mind when it came to the DeepSeek 3.2, which just came out, for as part of the answer I got, which shocked me. We're here talking about over the last couple of months about FPGA, direct market access is the best way to go about technically accessing and operating an HFT box strategy, thinking that's the most optimal way to do it. DeepSeek came back, I didn't ask for it, on the performance of FPGA versus CPU. CPU was it 1/10 faster than FPGA? That's what it said. So it kind of shocked me. I kind of knew what it meant, but I wanted to know exactly what it meant by CPU versus FPGA. So I asked. I went deeper with the DeepSeek. It came back and saying the way to do it is what we've kind of known: C++ with Linux, bypassing the kernel. And we're at a point now where you can really write very optimal code with C++, but the real way to do that is through the meta templates. I mean, that's the best way to do it. So there is actual LLMs that will generate that code for you. We're at that point, and it looks like more and more LLMs are getting there to do that for you. DeepSeek may be one of them. I still need to verify that, but that would be pretty, for what you don't pay versus a US AI like Claude. It's pretty good. But anyways, coming back to the CPU processing, which really kind of surprised me, is that if you have a box that just has the kernel, or taken out, the kernel's taken out, and you're just focusing on direct communication, bare metal, C++ might be actually faster than FPGA. I can't verify that, but that's kind of like what the freaking DeepSeek told me. Now, again, I don't know, but that answer came from somewhere. So good thing is, if we go down the C++ route, taking out the kernel with the I can't remember the name of the framework. It's from Intel. It's an open source. To remove the kernel in the Linux, it's an option, and it's doable. Just want to put that out there. Also, thank you for the likes, by the way. Again, if you want to ask questions, comments, let me know. The other thing is, when it comes to C++ versus C, C++ seems to be the better way, especially if you're using like the equivalent of a Rhythmic, because Rhythmic is really built for networking with something like the CME as an example. Now, here's another reason why I like Rhythmic's the better approach. Rhythmic enables you to have one set of code that will work with pretty well all the major exchanges out there. So we're talking Eurex, LME, ICE, SGX, all the like. Hang Seng, maybe, I don't know. I don't know the exact number of exchanges, but a good chunk of the institutional level ones. The cool thing I like about with Rhythmic is it enables you to write a layer to connect into all the data, the layer to do all your trading and execution through Rhythmic, and that's it. You only have to do that once with all the major exchanges. So that's another big reason why I like Rhythmic from what I'm seeing. Whereas opposed, if you go to CME directly and say, I want direct market access, they'll give you an API to work with. That's fine. But the thing is that if you want to take that same set of strategies you come up with and you go to the ICE for the LME or the Eurex, and you go directly to them, you're going to get another bunch of APIs to work with, and you have to start over and over again for each exchange. You don't need to do that here with Rhythmic, because it's like the wrapper to all these major exchanges. So that's one of the reasons why I like this approach as well, with Rhythmic. So you can interact with everything, with all the exchanges, and you can do it all through Rhythmic. And I don't think, from what I'm seeing, that it's a huge concern about latency, because, as I said, the Diamond API is built for that. It's built, and they market themselves as ultra low latency. Like, that's what they build it upon. And from what as I said before, C++ and Linux, that's the way. I guess. Anybody else got questions or comments about that? As I said, I'd like to go into details on that, but I can't. And the only way to get access to it is to find your own way to get through that. The demo stuff won't give you access to this. The support team at Rhythmic, I don't think will give you any priority. It will probably give you very little priority, if any priority at all. But if you're coming through a funded futures account, a futures broker, introductory broker, it's a different story, especially if you're now becoming a paying customer for their data at Rhythmic, and on top of that, you have to pay the $100 fee as well for the API access as well. I'm paying $140 and change for that in US dollar. So I've been on Rhythmic now 2 months, but I've gotten very serious in the last 2 weeks with the Rhythmic API knowledge. That's all I can tell you. I don't know. Anybody else got any questions or comments? If not, I'll tear down this stream. I'd like to get back to my reading, my Rhythmic. I think I've blabbed enough for 45 minutes. Normally we get well into questions from people on this. But as I said, my thumbnail probably didn't help, but that's okay. I'll probably do a professional Zoom presentation in more detail on this. But that long form stuff, I said I'm not doing anymore. Videos. YouTube likes me, what you're seeing here. I get better response, and then I just throw it into this thing to create all the clips, the shorts and the clips for all the other platforms. Anybody else got any questions? What I'll do is, okay, it's 45 minutes. I'll go, I don't know, another 15 minutes. If there's no comments or questions to drum up beyond that, I can't really help you. I'll give you an offer. If you go to my quantlabs.net website, you'll get automatically, you should be able to get access to my C++ infrastructure ebook on the how the high frequency trading shops do it. I could probably give you, I don't know, you want a software example of MCP servers, coding example, I'll do that. Just in your email, you have an option to email me or chat, just associate your email. I'll gladly throw in there, just remind me, and I'll give you an MPCP coding example, how to set up an MCP. In fact, I'm actually going to set up an MCP server maybe today or tomorrow, just to get the know-how how to do that. I don't think it's that important for an MCP server if you have your own set of things you need to quickly learn. But as I said, if you're trying to come in learning about an API for an MCP, no, read the actual documents. There'll be a lot of things you miss out on. So as I said, if you want to get a coding example I have, just sign up to my email list, quantlabsnet.com, all right? So if I got here 47 minutes into this stream, I'm going to give you guys 10 more minutes just to ask me anything related around these topics. Let me know. Or just general algo trading. I'll stay on. If not, I got stuff to do. And last time I was on for 3 hours. I had no problem with that, or 2.5 hours. But your call. Let me know. And so as it stands right now, I'll be coding up, or the AI will code up an MCP server. I tested one today. I was using Opus 4.5, Claude, Anthropic. Just so people know, Anthropic created the MCP server concept a year ago, I believe. Obviously, it's suggested to use the Claude desktop. It's not that hard to set up the Anthropic way of setting up an MCP server through the Claude desktop, and I guess you connect that into one of the Claude models. So I'm going to try that out, see how it goes. Now, there's other ways that I've seen in other LLMs, and they go through, well, you can run this Cheerio Python package and it'll extract all the blah, blah. It's so complicated. I've already tried out LM Studio. I've already tried out OCaml, whatever it's called, and I want to go the easy path. And if it's easy path is through the Claude, I'll gladly do that. 10 more minutes if anyone's got a question or something. I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm going to try to do. Again, I don't know what I'll do with it, but I'll put it up for my my elite members, my Quant Elite members. You can learn about that on the website, quantlabsnet.com. And anybody who's watching, just join that. Thank you very much. Got a few of you. Man, you guys got a good deal. We've got 240 quant-related projects on that membership. 240 institutional level research projects generated by AI. and paid big money to do that, but it's there in Python. As I said, some of it includes quantum computing, RAG applications, already got an MCP in there. There's a trading system, high frequency trading system developed where all the major components are done with custom agents. It's so complicated. One of the reasons why I dropped the project of this order book on .NET, it was just a no-go, because once you start to bloat out all these multiple files with a full-on trading whatever project, even Claude really can't debug it properly because it's just too big, too much in the memory to call back on, and you're just going around in circles. So I'm trying to keep these projects small, preferably in one file. Let's say it's C++, one header, one C++ source file. It's just simpler. I don't mind the file to get big, the C++, a couple of thousand lines. I just want to make the AI be able to work with it and debug it. Because once you start spreading out to like 10, 15, 20 files, Claude can't really do anything with it. The only one that could do that, again, possibly is Manus with the AI, but I've already was going to try it, but man, that's expensive. To build out a coding base is going to cost you, I don't even want to hazard a guess, a big budget you need for Manus. So there's all these projects on there on this membership. So now was 500 for the year annually, and now I just jacked it up as of today to 5,000. So it's 10 times more. And reason is because we're going into institutional level stuff, and people that want to get into it have to pay institutional pricing. If I told you the pricing on the that one API, and you thought that was too much, then don't come to me for all my coding moving forward. It's not for the faint of heart. This is big boy stuff now, fancy pants stuff, and it also has the quant stuff in there. Has all the institutional level stuff. This is not. I'm still using trading platform like a MotoWave to find trends, but to get down to the specifics on writing strategies with a trading system wrapped around it. It's just going to be one market condition and one instrument. It's not going to be a monolithic approach anymore. It's just too expensive. And you got to keep it stripped down. So you have to keep it, as I said, one file, preferably, well, really one instrument. And then the reason I'm saying that is because you need to find the trends in the markets with volatility and all that, and unpredictable volatility. The really only way to really do it in a smart way is to do it through a platform. I renewed my TradingView account, so I have TradingView. I could do that with. I could also do it with MotoWave as well. So I'm planning to use MotoWave for that, and then using the AI to develop the coding strategy with the quant related stuff in there as well. If it's mean reverting, if it's trend following, so be it. I'll be able to code it up. 7 more minutes, folks. I don't think we're going to get a lot of interest here in questions and comments outside of 2 folks. Thanks for being part of it. You're still around. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen with this stream, but maybe every second stream does okay. Maybe hopefully next week will be a better one. Yeah, but this one's probably the most detail I've gone into the institutional level stuff, because the retail, there's so many people doing that, and a lot of people are just putting out retail related stuff on algo trading. That's kind of dangerous, to be honest. You want to go, as I said earlier, the rhythmic path, and if you want to go true low latency and high frequency, you got to go through the rhythmic path. So 5 more minutes if you got a comment or question or all in this stream. Anybody? I don't mind being an hour. I got an MCP server to get to, and finishing off the documentation for API for the rhythmic. Anybody? Somebody said hi. I appreciate that, as well as our main man, CNN ASS. Let's see. Should I give it a whirl now and just say thank you for being part of this and end this now? Ask me something or comment away for me to stay on. I don't mind staying, but we're back down to one person. They don't stick around, man. I know who the only person is still. Anyways, why not just do this and just end it? Thanks a lot for sticking around. You know who we are as Mr. CNN. And we shall talk to you soon. More videos will come along. I'll be doing this, another webinar, hopefully on Wednesday night, going into more benefits of this. And maybe the MCP server as well. Talk about that as well. I'm not, as I said, I don't think I'm going to do any more long form videos. I don't know. I got the new software to try it out and see how it goes. See what the response is like. Okay, I'll bid adieu. Auf Wiedersehen. Sayonara. Take it easy.